they're creating content one or two times and like expecting the brand to see them or expecting,
Mm.
that content to perform really well. And like for me, even when I'm not working with brands, I'm still creating content for the main brands that I want to work with.
Welcome to Accidentally Influential, the show for educators, experts, and creators who never meant to build a platform but want to monetize it beyond their own community. I'm Kate.
And I'm T. Combined, we've built an audience of nearly 500,000 followers and landed over $500,000 in brand deals. Now we help you turn knowledge into cash, content into partnerships, and influence into a business that pays.
You might have become accidentally influential,
but what you do with it now, that part's intentional. Let's make some money. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Accidentally Influential.
We are so excited to have you guys back. And today we have an episode that I think all of you educators are going to love. This is for all of you who feel like you're doing things right. You're growing on Instagram. You're building trust. You're selling your own offers, your own digital products, but you're watching other creators partner with brands and you're not really sure how the heck they got there. This episode is for you.
And that's why we're so pumped to bring on our guests today. We're going to be talking to Nichol. And I don't know, if you have not heard of Maya, literally pause, go find her on Instagram. You're going to want to stay in her world because she's incredible. She is a sustainable business coach and Instagram expert who teaches entrepreneurs how to grow a profitable life-first business while working part-time hours. She's a mom of two. She's a homesteader, and she's built her business in a way that supports slow mornings, dirt under the fingernails type of afternoons, and 50K months. She has it all. It's incredible. All from a strategic content and all from having strategic content and simplifying her systems. Her life mission is to help her students do the same through clear messaging, organic marketing, and sustainable business foundations that allow them to stack income and stack memories.
Today, I really think you guys are going to enjoy this conversation because I'll be real. T and I are recording the intro after we actually interviewed Maya.
And it was so good.
We both got off and were kind of giddy. So, You know what? I don't even think we have to say anything else. We're so excited to introduce you guys to Maya and can't wait for you to listen to this conversation.
Let's go. All right, Maya, we're so happy to welcome you on to Accidentally Influential. We like to start out with, a little fun question for our guests. As you know, the podcast is called Accidentally Influential because for the most part, Edu-creators, we didn't set out to have this massive following or all of this influence and reach so many people, but we have some of the most influence on social media, and it's just super cool. So our question to you is, what's your first or most accidentally influential moment?
My first accidentally influential moment, I had been posting on Instagram for about just over 90 days, and I had posted 120 times over 90 days, and I was trying to grow my Instagram following, and so that wasn't the accidental part, but I was doing it for my network marketing business, and I wanted to grow my team. I wanted to sell more products. That was my intention behind it, but I ended up growing my Instagram following. I say ended up. Obviously, that's what I intended to cut out. But it took me a really long time. Yeah. I mean, 120 posts over 90 days. You can do the math. That's a lot of times of me posting. And I started to grow and I started to gain momentum. And I hit that 10K follower mark. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've made it. Because back then, that's when the swipe up link was a thing on Instagram, on stories. And so you couldn't link anything on stories until you had 10K. And so I was like, I am the shit. Everyone should know my name. And then I think it was 3 months after that, Instagram got rid of the swipe up link and gave everyone access to linking on stories. And I was like,
it's criminal.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But I hit 10K followers and I started having people in my direct messages, they were reaching out to me. They're like, I've been following your growth. Over the last 2 weeks, you're exploding. And then I just continued growing and growing. But they were asking me, do you do coaching? Do you have coaching? Do you have courses? How can I learn from you? How can I be in your world, basically? And again, I was still in network marketing at the time. And so I was like, hey, come join my network marketing. And they're like,
doing this
I already have a business. I'm already selling products. I'm already selling whatever services or whatever. And I was like, oh, I guess that kind of makes sense. So you don't want to join my network marketing team. And so I feel like that was like my accidentally influential moment, but
Yeah.
that was the whole start of my business. And I just decided, I was like, hey, I'm gonna do some coaching calls. And I had a
Yeah.
little bit of experience doing coaching through my network marketing team, and I had
Mhm.
a pretty good sized team. And so I was doing, like weekly training calls and like group things like that. And also one to one with my team members. And so it wasn't like a completely foreign concept, but like the fact that someone was gonna pay me to hop on Zoom for an hour, I was like,
Whoa.
I don't even think this is gonna actually happen. And so I remember I was like, how do I even get people to book? And so I ended up finding Calendly. I
Mm.
set up Calendly link and I was like $100 for an hour plus 2 weeks of chat support after, plus my
Oh my
ebook that I just randomly created for free. I
Oh
was like,
my
sure, let's do
god.
it. And I put it out there and I was booked out like almost immediately. And then
That's
I just
amazing.
remained booked out for months and months and months to come. But that was
Yeah.
like, I mean, that was the start of my business and it was totally God's plan because it was
Yeah.
not my plan to ever exit network marketing, but God had other plans for me. So
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing. At what point did you you're just like, I'm done with this over here and I'm going full speed on to
so
this new thing?
my first month in business, I hit 5K
Dang.
and that was
Nice.
almost it depended on the month in network marketing, but almost double what I was making at
Mhm.
network marketing. And I had been doing that for a year and a half. And like,
Yeah.
I'm talking hustling. Like, I was working 8, 10, 12 hours a day trying to build my network marketing team and sell products. And then like
Mhm.
this happened and it was like totally my flow and my vibe because in network marketing, I loved teaching social media. I loved creating content. Like I was the one that was like taking all of the aesthetic
Yeah.
pictures and like the flat lays at the time, which were really popular
Super
for my
popular.
team. And I was sending it out and like everyone on my network marketing team was using all these things. And so like that was like totally my vibe. And so to be
Yeah.
able to build a business and like totally my zone of genius, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I also knew too, and this is just kind of my personality, but I was like, I've built this in network marketing and like it's okay for me to step away because I always know if like me building this business, if it doesn't work out, I can always go back.
Yeah.
And if that means I
Yeah.
have to rebuild from scratch, that's totally fine. Like I know now that I can do that. And so
Mhm.
I wasn't necessarily afraid of stepping away. I think the hardest part was obviously like my team and
Yeah.
the social aspect of it, which we don't usually get within, as we are solopreneurs, which is
Yeah.
why I
Yeah.
love hopping on podcast episodes like this
Get
because
to
it's so
talk to
fun to be able
people.
to chat with real human beings. But yeah, immediately within the first month, I was like, I just need to see what happens, and I need to
Yeah.
give this my all, and I don't want to be able to look back and be like, oh, I wish I would have, you know, given it my all. And so I didn't want to have any regrets, and so I was full on yes, and I was like, let's see what happens.
Yeah. That's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
What I love that sticks out about that, and I feel like this is like a trend that I see across so many like education-based content creators is like you just like started by like serving people. Like you didn't start like, oh, I'm going to sell this digital product on this thing, and then like try to rally and build this community around it. Like you built your community around you and then there was like a need for more of you and look where you are now. Like I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, and it's
Yes.
like totally the conversation of, do you pick your niche and then you grow your business? And it
Mhm.
was like my niche kind of picked me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I was in network marketing and I was posting things that I obviously enjoyed creating content around. And that was kind of a little bit of like the lifestyle content as well as some tips for Instagram, which I never, ever, ever, ever was I posting those to become an Instagram expert.
Yeah.
That was never
Right.
my intention. I was just like, I know that my network marketing team is following me and like I hope that they see this. Like this is
Yeah.
like that little hint of
It's
like
like to help them.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
exactly. And so I started putting that out there and I was like, I actually really enjoy creating this type of content. And so I started to create more of that, but still with the lifestyle aspect in it as
Mhm.
well. But I was totally playing around and testing different, formats and different topics and different I guess what we would call content pillars now. I mean, I was kind of all over
Yeah.
the place and it wasn't until, I was probably around 100 posts into my 120 posts where I was like,
Mhm.
I actually really enjoy like this
Mhm.
Instagram growth stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really still focused on Instagram growth for network marketers. And it's just kind of evolved over time. And so that's something that's really cool too about um, I don't know, I guess my journey is like looking
Mhm.
back, people are like, oh, do you choose the niche, the profitable
Mhm.
niche or whatever, and, scale from there. But it was like, no, I kind of just, I really just leaned into what I enjoyed creating, and I was paying
Mhm.
attention to, oh yeah, people also like, listening to this. They also like consuming this content. They also have a lot of questions on this, and that's
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
what led me to where I am.
That's so
That's
good.
awesome.
That's
Seriously.
so good.
I feel like that's like the perfect accidentally influential
Mhm.
story too. Like I think T and I can speak very similarly to like how we became print on demand creators. Like we just started talking about this thing we were interested in, just like really genuinely hoping to share. And then it turned
Yeah.
Yeah.
into like the questions start and people start seeing you as a mentor. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm curious with that, like when did brand partnerships enter the picture for you? Like, can you tell us a little bit about your first brand deal and how that came about?
Yeah. So I want to say within the first 4 months is when my first brand deal happened.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And I So something that's a little interesting about my story is before I was doing network marketing, I was doing a lot of free, I guess what you would call brand partnerships. I didn't really
Mhm.
know that that was like the term at the time, but they would send me something for free. I would post about it, and I had like 1,500, 2,000 followers at the time. This was like pre UGC being a big thing,
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
that. And so I didn't really understand that like I could have been monetizing at the time, but I was like, "I'm getting free stuff and, like, this is awesome."
Yeah.
And so I had, like, that kind of background in it where I really almost started my Instagram account, of wanting to work with brands, but I didn't really know how, and then I kinda stumbled upon network marketing, not
Mm.
I guess I did stumble upon it. It was an ad on Instagram that popped up, and that's how I got into it, but I was like, "Oh, this is a way for me to monetize Instagram," and so that was kinda like I guess my doorway in. I was like, "Okay, I can monetize from this. It's not necessarily from brands, but I can start there." And then when I started my business, that was like I was not at all thinking about
Yeah.
brand partnerships. I was not thinking about pitching brands, because when I was doing free brand work, I would reach out to them and I would pitch them and I would, send my deck of here are the flat lays, or here's all these photos that I've taken for other brands, or even if I hadn't worked with that brand, what I would hope,
Mhm.
hope brands that I would hope to work with. And so again, it was just not really, I wasn't pitching brands. I wasn't, not that I wasn't interested in working with brands, it was just not really on my radar
Yeah.
whatsoever. But because my Instagram following was growing so rapidly, people were just recognizing me. And
Mhm.
so I
Mhm.
started to have brands reach out to me, which is kind of the cool power of having more followers on Instagram. Like there will be people out there who tell you like, you don't need to grow your following. Like it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
I call BS on that. It opens up so many opportunities, so many doors. I mean, I can't even tell you the countless opportunities that I've had just because of my following on
Yeah.
Instagram, which I'm so grateful for. But yeah, within the first 4 months, my well, gosh, I'm trying to think the very first brand that reached out to me. Um, it was a it was a video editing app, and
Mhm.
it
Mm.
wasn't even a video editing app that I was using or talking about, but because I was creating so much, content around, like, I was doing a lot of at the time when this was really popular on Reels, like, transitions, and so I was doing a lot
Mhm.
of
Oh, yeah.
tutorials about cool transitions and things like that, and so it was very aligned with this video editing app
Hmm.
platform.
Mhm.
And, so they reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, we wanna partner with you," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Cool.
Sure,
Right.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
partner. And so I was like, "I don't use your app, and so I don't feel comfortable promoting it right now. Can you give
Mhm.
me a month to use this app
Yep.
to see if this is even something that I would even talk about with my community?" And so I used it for a month, and I was like, "Actually, yeah, this is great." And so that was my very first, partnership.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is so
And
good. I
so
think
important to test the
yeah.
alignment. Like, that's something we
Yes.
talk about a lot on here is, like, even if you because I've definitely had brands reach out where I'm like, "I've never used your product or service. I'm
Yeah,
interested in what you have to offer." Like, I'm always exploring new tools and things like that, but then I always ask to test things first because you don't wanna
Mhm.
pitch something to your audience that, like, you haven't used or you don't
Yeah.
actually believe in.
yeah. Something super funny that ties into this I was on Instagram. I was posting a brand partnership actually right before I hopped on this call.
Nice.
But I was looking at my explore page and I saw a reel that popped up and it was like the moment I realized I had to back out of this brand partnership and she was trying, I don't know what it was because I don't think she showed it on there, but she was trying like a product for the first time. And I was like thinking to myself, why would you not have
Mhm.
tried that or ask them like, "Hey, send me a sample, I would love to try
Yep.
it if I love it," before you get into the contract aspect of things, and then you're having to back out and, like, all of that because that's just gonna obviously create so much stress for you on your end, so if you haven't tried it yet, like, maybe you will love it, but
Yeah.
at least try it before you start to get into the contract and all that type of stuff, and in negotiations and contracts and all that, like, it takes a lot of time, so, like,
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
it would be so sucky to have gone through, 3 or 4 weeks or sometimes 6 weeks to then try it and be
To be
like,
like, "I don't
"Oh,
like it."
I actually don't like
Yeah.
this, so, like, let me now try and back out of this," and I just wasted 6 weeks of
Yeah.
my time
Yeah.
and your time.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think, like, we talk about this a lot, like, whenever you partner with a brand, like, you are leasing out a part of your personal brand, like,
Mhm.
there's no way around it, and so you better back what you're selling because that now becomes a part of your personal brand whether you like it or not, and it's really important to have that alignment.
Yeah.
Oh, for
And I would
sure.
say it's such a red flag if you reach out to a brand like pre partnership and ask them to try the product or like even do a demo. Like, I think for a lot of us, when we're talking about products or services that you're thinking about integrating into your business, it's like, ask to go through a demo of that product with their team. And if they're like,
Mhm.
oh, not interested in that, or that seems like a big hurdle, it's like, that's probably not a brand you want to work with. I've
Yeah.
never had a brand that was reputable be like, okay, I want to see how this works. I want to jump on a call with you, like walk me through everything and how this serves my community. And then be like, no, we're not really
Too risky.
interested. Can you just talk about this
Yeah.
product? It's like, that's a red flag. That's a huge
Yeah,
red flag.
for
Yeah, and
sure.
also from a brand perspective too, in my opinion, like, if I were the brand, why would you want to work with someone who hasn't
Right.
had that
Mhm.
type of experience, and has their own personal testimonial and
Mhm.
case study or whatever? Because that makes the content so much better.
Yeah.
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 On that note, speaking of content, I'm curious, do you see similarities between like the type of content that you create to sell your own offers and the type of content that attracts brands or that you create for brands that you partner with?
Yeah, so I guess to me, there's kind of 2 things that come to mind here in terms of attraction, which maybe I'll stick a pin in that, we can talk about that in a second in terms of how I've attracted the brands that I
Mhm.
work with, because the first one was really, I mean, yes, they saw my content, and I kinda explained that, I was creating that tutorial type based content, and so that was really appealing to them, but we'll stick a pin in that and come back to that, but in terms of the content that I'm creating right now for brands, is that similar to my educational content for my own products, whether that be my membership, my program,
Mhm.
coaching? Yes, it is very, very similar. And that for me is something that is an absolute non-negotiable when I am working with brands, is it needs to be like the content that I'm already creating.
Mhm.
Because if it's
Yep.
not and it like stands out and it's like stark contrast to the other content that I'm creating, like that's just a big no-no for
Yeah.
me, because
Yeah.
number 1, it's not authentic. People can see that it's not authentic in that
Yeah.
way, and number 2, it's really hard for me to create that type of content, and I have worked with brands in the past, just, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I've just done it for the money where I'm like, "Yeah, this is good money, I'm gonna do it," even though there's
Totally.
really
Mhm.
strict guidelines around
Yeah.
the type of content that you want. And now I'm to a place in my business where I'm obviously very grateful to be in this place, but I can say no to partnerships.
Yeah.
And so I am like, if that is the case for you, if you have like these super strict guidelines of exactly how this is going to look and it's going to look very much like an ad, I'm like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And also, too, something that is really hard, and it's one of those things too where I feel like on the brand side of things, there's a level of education and knowledge that needs to happen as well, and almost like
Mhm.
it shouldn't be our job as creators and as business owners to do this, but I do feel like sometimes I do
We have to.
spend some time doing this, which
Yeah.
is educating them. And, they're like, "Hey, I want it to look exactly like this and have this
Mhm.
exact script and do," and I'm like, "It's not gonna perform well."
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, what is your goal at the end of the day? If it is views and engagement and getting people to, click the link or start a trial or whatever it is, it's not going to perform well. And so
Yep.
I think that's another thing as well for me is if they reach out to me and even if it's like the best deal ever, I obviously want my content to perform for the brand because I
Mhm.
want it to do well because I want to have a long-lasting relationship with them. And also too, like that affects future brand partnerships for
Yeah.
me as well because other brands are going to look at that piece of content and be like, "Oh, well that didn't do so well." Like, do I
Yep.
really want to partner with her? Like people we do our research on brands, but brands are also doing their research on you.
Mhm.
And so I think there's a lot of different layers to that, but for me it's my content has to stay so authentic to me or else it's not an aligned fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is such a good point because, like, we talk all the time about you're not just a content creator, you're not just like an actress reading a script for a brand, like, you're a strategic partner and you can bring that authority and everything. Like, as education based content creators, we've learned that skill set to create quality content, to create growth content, top of funnel content, conversion content, and to be confident in bringing that expertise that you've developed in your own business to a brand and have that conversation without fear of them being like, she's a little pretentious. We're going to, like it never goes
Right.
like that. Bringing that like expertise, I think is such a good point. And I don't think a lot of creators have that like confidence at the very beginning.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
something else that has been really helpful for me too is being able to work with those brands. And if you're like, okay, I'm not working with brands yet, you can still create content that would be as if you were working with a brand that you can present to brands. But I will
Mhm.
present to a brand and be like, hey, this is the type of content that is working really well. Like, here's another brand partnership that I've done. Or again, if you haven't done a brand partnership, like, here's a piece of content that I've created, talking about your brand or talking about your product and presenting it to them and being like, this is the type of content that's working well right now.
Yeah.
And when they see like the physical, like, oh, I can see the views, I can see the engagement. Like, if you have also too conversion data to give them, like,
Mhm.
it's gonna be really hard for them to be like, oh, we want it to look like this. And
Yeah.
so I think that's super helpful as well, going to the brand and like having not just, a pretty picture to give them, but like, I've created content like this, it converts well. Let's do
Mhm.
it like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
having that ability though to go back to the brand and be like, "Hey, I want to be a strategic partner to you. Like we
Yeah.
can like let me give you some of my expertise as well as you giving me your ideas." Like there's always a middle ground. You don't have to just take what the brand wants at face value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's your community, you know them best at the
Yes.
end of the day, and, just because that brand has worked with other creators in your niche or in your industry or in other industries, it doesn't mean that they are an expert at brand partnerships and what type of content is gonna perform best. Like, it
Mhm.
is your job to advocate for you because you know your community best, you know what converts best,
Amen.
you know the messaging that works best.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely.
End of episode. So good.
I was
Just
gonna
kidding.
say, I think
It's
we can
just like
yeah,
boom.
we could, but we're gonna give you guys even
Fuck.
more.
Yeah, it's just getting started.
So, okay, I'm going to ask a question, Maya. What do you think most beginning, like entry level content creators who want to monetize their content, what do you think they overthink or get wrong whenever they start making content that a brand may potentially want to pay for? Like, what are some mistakes that you see beginner creators make?
I think my answer here is probably not at all what you would expect it to be, and that
That's
is
okay.
that they're creating content 1 or 2 times and, like, expecting the brand to see them or expecting,
Mm,
that content to perform really well, and, like, for me, even when I'm not working with brands, I'm still creating content for the main brands that I want to work with. Like, for example,
Mhm.
today I posted a brand partnership with ManyChat. I've had a relationship with this brand for a very, very long time, and it's very important to me. I love this brand, for not just because I use it as a creator, but I just love the people behind it. They've been really, really good to me. But also, 2 other times just over the last 2 weeks, I posted content about ManyChat,
mhm.
Yeah.
specifically about ManyChat, and it could have been as easy as me literally adding hashtag ad on it because that's
Yeah,
how like, it
Yeah.
was me basically creating content for ManyChat without me necessarily being paid to create that type
yeah,
of
just because
content,
you
and
Yep.
love it.
Yeah, and it's just because I love it and I'm gonna talk about it anyways, and so I think that that's a huge mistake that I see people make is, like, they're almost entitled of, like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, I have to be paid to talk about this brand," and it's like, if that's the case, do you actually love that brand as much as you say
Mhm.
you do? And it's like
Mhm.
one of those things where people talk about this and tease about this all the time in the online space, but it's like, you see someone like, "This is my favorite lipstick," and, like, they're putting on their favorite lipstick, and then, like, a week later, it's like, "And this one
This is
is
my
not
favorite.
my favorite lipstick," and it's like,
Yeah.
Right.
"Wait a second, which one is your favorite lipstick?"
Yeah.
And so I
Right.
think that creating lots of content for a
Mhm.
brand, talking about that brand, and expecting absolutely nothing in return, or guess
Yes.
what? As creators, we have multiple different ways to monetize. Hello, affiliate marketing. Like,
Right.
you can still make money from that, right?
Yeah.
And like,
Right.
that's then going to help you to make even more money when that brand recognizes you or when you pitch that brand in the future because you're like, hey, I've created not just one piece of content, not
Mhm.
just two pieces of content, but like, here's a whole portfolio of
Yeah.
content that I've created just for your brand. And I'm also an affiliate. Here's all the data of how well my content has
Yes.
So
converted
good.
for you. Like, now I'm gonna be able to land the highest paying brand deal possible. So I would say that
Mhm.
the entitlement of, like, I need the brand to pay me
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
I talk about it, like, that's a huge mistake that I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did that with one of my earliest brand deals.
I was gonna say I have a
I
story too.
was I was just an affiliate for this brand, but I had a video go like viral and my conversion rate was insane. Like I think it was over like 10%, 15% on this product that I talked about in one video. And then I went to them and was like, "Hey, I'm already converting like this many people. Like, you guys interested in partnering?" We ended up signing like a 3 video package just off
Yeah.
of that. So
Mhm.
that is so not talked about enough, the amount of, like, at the beginning, I guess, quote, "unpaid labor," but, like, it
Yeah.
pays off in dividends in the end, like, you have to
Yeah.
put that in at first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I said I was gonna stick a pin in, the attraction of brands.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
there are really only 3 brands that I work with right now. I
Mhm.
work with Flowdesk, I work with
Uh-huh.
Kajabi, and I work with ManyChat. They're 3
Mhm.
tools that I use every single day in my business. I've used them for over 4 years in my business, and they're something that I would continue using even if these brands didn't work with me, but the reason why these brands reached out to me, I never reached out to one of these brands saying, "Hey, let's do a brand partnership," and it's not
Mhm.
because of the amount of followers that I had, it's because I was an affiliate for them, and I'm an
Yeah.
affiliate for all 3 of these brands, and those brands, any brand out there, they know their top affiliates, I promise you.
Yeah.
And even if
Yeah.
you're not a top affiliate, like, they still know who their affiliates are,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that is such an easy way for you to get an in on that company, and for them to recognize you and for you to also be able to negotiate a higher per pay for brand partnerships because they're like, "Yeah, you've already converted. Oh, we see that. We
Yeah.
see that data.
It's
You are an
evidence.
affiliate. We see that converting." Um, and so that for me is like that I don't know. I don't I'm not saying that I'm anti-pitching brands. I have
Yeah.
pitched brands, but as an educator, I don't have all of the time in the world to be pitching brands,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially, like, if I'm gonna be getting a lot of no like, which we all get lots of
Yeah.
no's, but
Right.
Mhm.
for me, it's like it's so easy for me to be an affiliate because I'm already talking about these
Yeah.
brands. I'm already
Yeah.
using these brands. Like, even if I don't even create a piece of content about this, people are in my DMs, "What are you using for email marketing?"
Mhm.
You know, "Wha this is a direct message automation. This was so cool. What tool did you use?" Like,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
so easy for me to share these brands, and then when brands reach out to me, like ManyChat, like Flowdesk, like Kajabi, and they're like, "Hey, we wanna partner with you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a no-brainer," but also I almost see it as just, like, the cherry on top of that relationship with them,
Mhm.
because I'm already partnered with them in a way, like, through affiliate
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's something as experienced content creators, we always say, like, I, at this stage in my business, if a brand, like a well-respected brand in my space that I've been talking about forever, like reached out and offered an affiliate only partnership, I would be a little bit like, not that I would never take that, but like if it was like, we
Mhm.
want you to post in exchange for just an affiliate relationship, I probably wouldn't take that. Like I
Yeah.
would still
Yeah.
advocate for a paid partnership, but I think for beginning content creators, that is like a huge benefit of affiliate is starting with that and using it to gather metrics.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Especially, like, from an intentional standpoint. Like,
Yeah.
Maya, you, like, you're like, "I love these brands," and just started posting and went after your own affiliate link rather than just, like, waiting for brands to come to you and be like, "Hey, like, you want to post affiliate-based content," you
Right.
know? That, like, directionality, I think, is
Yes.
really important if the end goal is to eventually land a paid brand deal with this brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, and for me, I've worked with I probably worked with over 10 different brands, which isn't a lot. I'm definitely very selective. As I was saying, I
Mhm.
have to love the product, I have to love the brand.
Mhm.
But I, over the years, have just whittled it down to these 3 because I make the most amount of money from them.
Yeah.
Not from brand partnerships, but also people asking me about them, so it's very easy for me to talk about them, and I've built lasting relationships with them. And so
Yep.
it's not like, for example, with ManyChat, this is the 4th contract that I've signed just since July of last year,
Mhm.
and I haven't pitched not even one time, but we just have that lasting relationship where I just
Yeah.
they just keep coming back,
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful for that, and so I think that that is something too where, you know, I hear a lot of times people are like, "Well, I feel really burnt out in the brand partnership
Mhm.
space," and that's oftentimes why they come to, create courses and digital products and things like that because 'cause they're like,
Yeah.
"I don't wanna have to be pitching all the time and
Yeah.
negotiating all the time and all these different things," and it's like, settle down and find a few brands that you can build
Yes.
lasting relationships with, and you're
Mhm.
not gonna feel so burnt out because 'cause you're not gonna
Yeah.
have to be pitching all the time, and, like, more opportunities and more doors are gonna be open to you because of that. Like, for example, because I was an affiliate for Kajabi and done brand partnerships with them, like, I was able to speak on their stage at
So cool.
their conference. Like, those types of opportunities come when you build lasting relationships
Mhm.
and you really focus on, like, giving them the best that you have
Mhm.
so that they want to continue working with you, and you're not gonna feel as burnt out in that way, and you're also not gonna feel like, "Oh, I have to set aside my entire education business to now do
Mhm.
brand partnerships because it takes up so much of my time because I'm pitching and I'm negotiating all these different things," and it's not to say that I don't negotiate,
Right.
but I have these lasting relationships, and so it's just nice of like, "Oh, yeah, like, I'm probably gonna have many more brand partnerships with ManyChat and Flowdesk and Kajabi to come."
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like when I think of your brand, because like I said before we jumped on here, like I've been a follower of yours for years. Like I think about those brands being associated with your brand. Like
Same.
even if they're not that you don't know when you do an ad, because obviously we all disclose when we do, but like you post about these brands so much, and it's like, okay, this is an ad, looks the same as their other content, like gonna engage the same way. Like you're
Mhm.
still sharing super useful tactical advice. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's like something developing those strategic long-term partnerships is such an underrated skill in a way to make content creation sustainable,
Yeah, for sure.
for sure.
Would you say so other than what you mentioned, like whenever you have an inbound, what are some of the things that you kind of like cycle through other than this is a tool that I love so much and I've used it a ton? What are some of those like standards you cycle through of like, yes, this is a brand I would consider working with versus not even going to entertain?
I mean, what does it look like after the brand partnership? So what
Mm,
what I mean by that is there an opportunity for me to be an affiliate and have affiliate sales come in? So something for me and also why I think the brands that I work with partner so well with my goals is Flowdesk, Kajabi, and ManyChat. I am an affiliate for them, but they pay out recurring commission on their
yeah,
affiliate.
so
And so it's
good.
not just a one-time payoff type of thing. To give an example, I worked with a brand and it was a product brand and I absolutely love them. I still use their products to this day, but the reason why I didn't continue working with them as a brand has nothing to do with them, has nothing to do with their products, but I was offered to have an affiliate with them and it was a one-off payment. Like, I think I was
Mhm.
making, like, maybe $6 for every product that I
Yeah.
sold, and it just got to the point where I was like, "'Kay, I can't work with all of the brands, and so I have to work with the brands where I'm not just making the most amount of revenue through that brand partnership, but like, for months to come," right?
Mhm.
And so that's something else that I definitely think about as well, and I totally understand that there's not, brands in every single niche that pay out affiliate commission on a recurring basis.
Mhm.
So that's definitely something to look into, and I honestly didn't even know that that was a thing. Like, the first, I would say, 5 brands that I worked with, they didn't do anything like that. Like, it was like the brand partnership was like a one and done type of thing. I think maybe 1 or 2 of them I ended up working with them again, which was great, but
Mhm.
I didn't even know that, like, that was a thing of, like, being paid out on a recurring basis. And it doesn't have to be only through your affiliate marketing too. You can also have it where they're going to maybe use uh your brand content as
Mm.
like paid advertising, and they have to pay a quarterly fee to be able to use it in their advertising. Like, there's so many different
Mhm.
ways that you can figure that out. Like, one of my students, actually, she was on my network marketing team, and she does UGC, so it's a little bit
Mm.
different, but
Mhm.
similar in the concept of like the negotiation and everything. But she makes $2,500 a month recurring from these people who are paying her to use her
Her
content
ads. Yeah.
for ads or for different medias. And so you can totally negotiate that type of thing where it's like she created that piece of content once and now she's being paid out, $2,500. It was probably multiple posts that she's being paid for that amount, but still, like, that's
Yeah.
$2,500 in recurring revenue that is coming in for her. And so I think there's all these like small little things that you can start to think about. And really truly, like, that just comes through experience.
Yeah.
I had no idea that some of these things existed when I
Same.
very first started until people started talking about it, or until I started, until brands were like, "Oh, can we add on this?" And I was like, "What is that?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "No, you can't add that
Yeah.
on." Or like, "No, you need to pay for that."
Yeah. Right.
And it just comes with experience. So that's
Totally.
one of the other things that I would say. The other thing that I would say, though, in terms of like filtering through brands to work with and brands not to work with, is it actually going to be helpful for my community? I know that
Mhm.
sounds like a no-brainer, but some of the times brands will reach out to me and like it's a no-brainer for me because maybe I use that product, but it might not make sense for my ideal client to use that
Yeah.
product. And so then it's like, okay, yeah, I can make the money on that, but ultimately when I post that, it's probably not going to perform very well because my ideal client doesn't actually need it. And so they're not going to be commenting, they're not going to be engaging with
Mhm.
that. So that's another thing to think about too, is like, yes, there might be money in it for me and I might use it. And so it might be authentic in that way, but would my people actually use it? And so I'm
Yeah.
always thinking about, like, my one on one clients, my mastermind students, like, would I actually suggest them using this or not? And if the answer is no, then I'm probably not going to go into partnership or promote that product as well. Um, I'm trying to think other things that I filter through. Um,
Do you ever get like just really like bad offers? Like I get what I feel like are spam emails daily that are like, I
Totally.
got one this morning that was like, we're reaching out about promoting our menswear. And I was like,
You haven't watched any of my videos.
when have I ever one posted a clothing video? Two, like menswear? Like I just was like, this is not a good fit.
Yeah.
Do you get those a lot, Maya?
oh yeah, for sure. And also ones too that are just like completely outrageous to the point where like I'm not even gonna even try to negotiate with you. Like,
Mm-mm.
I
Yeah.
got one at the end of Q4, and it was actually a brand that I do use. Like, I use their service, and so I was like, this is like, I clicked on it only because of that, because I do get a lot
Mhm.
of spam ones, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, like,
Mhm.
because I do think highly of this brand, and it was just like such an outrageous like ask. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was like a 3-day turnaround time, and they wanted like 4 pieces of content, and it was like a quarter, like their rate, which they said was a strict rate, and so that I knew it was like kind of like a non-negotiable type of thing. It was a quarter of what I was making for one
Yeah.
post with other brands. And so I get some of those too, where it's just like it's not even worth my time and energy
Yeah.
to even try. Even though I did
Yeah.
do use that service and I like that
Yep.
brand, it's like, come back to me with a better offer that's not even like, that was just laughable. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
is this a joke?
Right.
I feel like
Right.
that's part of our mission with like not an influencer and accidentally influential is to like educate around rates and and be as transparent as possible because like we believe that ultimately like the edu-creators, we kind of like shape the industry. Every time we say yes to a rate that's like below the value that we're providing for a brand and the value that we're providing to our community is like one more way of shaping that for the next creator that comes in, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's like It's so important to just laugh at those and move on. We don't accept brand deals, even if we love the, just
Yep.
we have a lot of influence over the industry by what we say yes and what we say no to.
And I
Yeah,
think also
absolutely.
too, especially if you're newer to doing brand partnerships, there almost is that fear, or at least I felt this when I started, where I was like, if I say no, is
Hmm.
that gonna be the last brand
Yeah.
deal, that lands in
Yeah.
my inbox? Like, are they gonna
Yeah.
tell other brands like, "Oh, she
Every
said
single
no,
brand
so
is going to
don't reach
know.
out to her." Um, kinda joking, kinda not, but
Right.
but
Yeah.
you do have that fear, that's there's almost like a scarcity mindset there where
Mhm.
it's like, I have to say yes. And I also think too, like on one side of things, it's like you feel like you have to say yes because of the money behind it, especially if you're early on and you're like, I need that money. And
Mhm.
sometimes you do. And I'm not saying that like if that is the case to say no to that brand partnership, obviously you need to decide whether that's aligned or not.
Mhm.
But I also think as well, you know, they're like, "Oh, I need this experience to be able to work with these other
Mm.
brands," and I think that there's other ways that you can kind of get that same experience, if not better experience, without even working with a brand, if that
Yep.
brand isn't aligned. Obviously, if
Yeah.
they're aligned, great, work with them, but if not, like, again, try out the affiliate marketing route or create content that you would create if the brand reached out to you, and so that you can present that to them, and they can see what it would be like to work with you, and I think that that's, like, one of the biggest things is, like, brands have a really hard time visualizing, especially
Mm.
as we are education-based people, like, they have a hard time visualizing, like, what would it be like for you to talk about and to
Mm.
promote a brand? And so when you have that good base of content that you can present to them, like, and they can visually see, like, "Oh, I understand how this product or this service can fit into what you're talking about in
Yeah.
your content," it can help them a lot.
Uh-huh.
And I think we think, "Oh, brand partnerships have been around for a really long time. Brands have been working with creators for a really long time." But it's like, it's still this weird space
Yeah.
where it's like, yes, that has been happening for a few years now, but like it's
It's
still
evolving.
it's still new on our end and
Mhm.
it's still new on their end, and it is continually evolving, and that's we have AI coming in, and, like, there's just so many
Mhm.
changes and things that are happening where it's like we do have to continually evolve, and it is part of our responsibility, I believe, to advocate for ourselves, but also
Mhm.
to showcase to them of, like, "Yes, we can work with you," as, not non-influential, non-influencer type people,
Yeah.
and still convert really highly for you, because at the end of the day, that's what a brand wants is
Yeah.
those conversions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, this is a little off script, but like when you say like conversions, do you ever think about like have conversations with brands in terms of are we doing top of funnel? Are we doing conversion based content? Like, how do you think about approaching that with a brand when you're working with them?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've actually never been asked that. I think for me on the strategy side, I'm always thinking of that, but just because I do want the content to perform really well. And so for me, it is kind of a mix of both, right? Like I do want that content to get a lot of reach, but I also do want that content to convert well.
Mhm.
I think that any brand would be lying to you if they said that conversions weren't like their main focus at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Like, yes, they might say like, "Oh, we also want, the awareness and things like that," but, like, what does the awareness lead to? Ultimately, they
Mhm.
want that to lead
Yeah.
to conversions,
Yeah.
and so to me, it's, like, kind of trying to figure out how to pair those 2, and that's why, I don't feel like I've figured out a secret formula, but I feel like I have figured it out for my audience, as to what that piece of content looks like
Mm.
through posting content that's not branded
Yeah.
sponsored content that would be similar though to what that would look like. And I actually even I pitched ManyChat a few different ideas for the piece of content that I ended up posting today, and they chose the one that they wanted to go with. And it was great, obviously. But there were two other ideas that I pitched them, and I was like, I'm still going to post these two other ideas because I already took the time to come up with this
Mhm.
ideation anyways. And the way that I pitch ideas, I kind of like script it out and not
Mhm.
like fully scripted, but like bullet points,
Right.
like enough where it's like I can
They
now
get
take
it.
content and
Yeah.
Mhm.
create it pretty quickly. And so I was like, I'm going to post these two other pieces of content. Well, those two other pieces of content did pretty dang well. And I was like, okay, well, this is what's working. And so
Mhm.
for me, it's like taking the time out of my schedule to test so that when I do work with a brand, I know what works, and it's not like that post that I posted for the brand is my first
Yeah.
experimental, like, my
Mhm.
experimental, content with them, and that has been really, really helpful for me for pairing the growth and the conversion, and I think the biggest thing is using direct message automation, because obviously that's gonna help with getting engagement up, which
Mhm.
helps with views, which helps with reach, and so it's really figuring out, like, "Hey, how can I get people to comment, and how do I get them to comment at a high volume? Like, how do I need to position this call to action statement? What's
Mhm.
gonna get them really excited? Or what type of deal is gonna get them really excited?" And that's something too that I am grateful for the brands that I work with. They do allow me to be pretty creative on this sense, I in this sense, because I've proven to them. And what I
Yeah.
mean by this is, for example, today, my ManyChat partnership, I knew that, well, I should say their goal was to get people to sign up for a 30-day free trial. That
Mm.
was their ultimate goal with this piece of
Mhm.
content. And I knew that that was not enticing enough for my audience to comment. Yes, I would probably have a few people who commented, but not at a high volume.
Mhm.
I knew that I needed to add in something else to sweeten the deal, and so I added in 9 free direct message automation templates that I personally created. I took
Mhm.
my own time to create because I knew that that was also gonna sweeten the deal. Now, those 9 free templates, they are all free, but a few of them, they use the ManyChat Pro account.
Mhm.
So they're going to wanna sign up for the 30 days of ManyChat Pro free, and so kinda getting creative in that aspect too,
Mm.
and that's taken me some time to figure out, like, "Hey, what are people going to comment with? And how can I also get strategic so it's not just like, yeah, they want to comment only for the direct message automation templates,
Yeah.
but making sure that those templates are something that gets them to also want to sign up for that 30-day free trial." And so getting creative in that aspect helps with the conversions, but also with the growth side of things.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so good because I think that's a unique edge that, like, education-based content creators can bring, that, like,
Mhm.
that business strategy.
Yeah.
Was hoping you would talk about that because I was gonna bring it up because I love when I see, like, you have, like, your freebies attached to something related to a brand because it's brilliant, and I, like, stumbled upon that strategy on accident with a brand I was partnering with. I, like, created a freebie. I managed to add, like, 4,000 people to my email list, like, after a few videos, and then within the freebie, there was all of these opportunities for my people to convert on the tool that I then got affiliate income with. Like, it's just, like, I don't feel like any other influencer or educate or, like, creator type person can really bring that level of strategy. Like, we're so unique here, and it's brilliant.
Oh, and that gives you 3 different opportunities to monetize. You
Mhm.
monetize
Yep.
from the brand partnership, you monetize from the affiliate income, and you added people to your email list where you're going
Mhm.
to then sell to them later on at some point, if not
Yep.
immediately, your own digital products. And it's like, why would you not want to strategize brand partnerships in that way? Um, it just makes so much sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's genius.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's like and that's where it goes, like, you're more than a creator. You are more than
Yeah.
an
yes.
actress reading a script. Like, there can be so much strategy that benefits both the brand and your personal brand and your business. Like, if you take that time to learn the strategy and, make it more than just a single video that you're publishing on your Instagram.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that also too, though, you that's where you have to be strategic about the brand partnerships that you work with, because if you're bringing that
Mhm.
level of strategy and intention to your brand partnerships, like, you can't be doing 10 brand partnerships a month, like, you are
Yeah.
going to burn out, and you can't do that all well, and so that's another thing for me, like, when you're listening to me say, like, "Oh, I created 9 free direct message automation templates," you're probably like, "You did what for free for this brand?" Like,
Yeah.
but I only have 3 brands that I mainly work with,
Yeah.
and so I have the capacity to be able to do so, and
Yeah.
because these brands pay me so well, it makes like, it's a
Yeah.
no-brainer for me to then
Yep.
deliver, and again, like, same exact as you said, T, I have 3 different ways that I am monetizing: the brand partnership,
Mhm.
then I have my affiliate link in there, and then in order to get those free direct message templates, they have to give me their email. So
Yeah.
eventually I'm gonna sell to them my direct message or my digital products. And so it's to me, it's a no-brainer, but you have to be very intentional with the amount of brands that you're working with.
Mhm.
And if those brands too don't give you the opportunity to get that creative, like go find brands that do because
Yes.
they are out there.
Yeah.
Just don't be afraid to, yeah. I don't want to say leave, but like don't be afraid to go find other
Yeah.
brands or that
Be
give you that
curious.
creative freedom.
Yep.
Right. I
No,
think
it's
that's
so
such good
good.
advice. I have absolutely commented on Maya's posts wanting her freebies before.
Oh,
She
for
makes
sure. So
real.
have I.
So
I've
if you're
hired Maya.
if you've listened to this and you haven't seen Maya's content, like actually go get her freebies because
Mhm.
she gives way more away than you should give away for free.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, obviously, before we let Maya go, T, I think we have to hit her with some rapid fire
Rapid
questions.
fire.
Which is like
Yes.
one of our favorite parts of the podcast. So
Yes.
T kick us off as long as
All
Maya's
right.
ready.
Yes.
I'm ready.
All
Okay.
right. What is one type of content you'd stop posting immediately if your goal was to attract brand deals?
Trendy, any trendy type content.
Mhm.
Brand
Yeah.
deals are not looking for trends. They are looking for your unique, authentic voice and your take and position and your opinions, your perspectives, which is not trendy.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think that's spot on.
Mhm.
Okay. What's one content habit that has had the biggest impact on your income consistency?
Ooh, that's a really great question. The very first thing that comes to my mind is B-roll and just having a
Mhm.
B-roll library, and that isn't because B-roll itself leads to money, but B-roll makes it easier for me to create content,
Mhm.
and more content that I create with strategy, that's gonna lead to more sales.
Yep. No, I think
Yeah.
you're spot on. I had to do a voiceover this morning and I was like, let me dig through the archives and see what I've got. But
Gosh.
it's so much easier when you just have it stacked. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I've been like watching people. I'm like everybody's target audience with B-roll because everybody's like, go on a date with yourself and record some B-roll so that your kids aren't in every single piece of B-roll. And I'm like, I need to do that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you work with a ton of your dream brands already, but what is one dream brand partnership you have right now?
One that I have right now or want to?
One that you want. Like, what is your, if you could work with any brand in the world and they would say yes, who is that dream brand?
Oh gosh. Apple.
Nice.
I love
Ooh.
Apple. Everything for me is
Yeah.
Apple. It all connects, and like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Apple fan, so I would say Apple.
That's a really good one, actually.
Yeah.
That's a
We'll
really
make
good
sure to
one.
tag Apple in all of our little
Everybody tag
podcast
Apple.
clips with Maya. We'll work on it.
Yeah. Okay. And finally, where can everybody find you and support your work?
At Maya Nichol, basically
Okay.
everywhere.
Perfect.
Yeah, MayaNichol.com. At Maya Nichol on Instagram. My podcast though is Radical Disruption. If you want to tune into my podcast, but
Love
And
it.
you
else is
should.
Maya Nichol.
Perfect. And we'll
Yeah.
tag everything in the show notes as well. So,
Yeah. Well, that was really fun. I feel like we could have like yapped literally for another hour. So many like golden nuggets here that I don't know about you, Kate, but I feel like I have like 50 new podcast episode ideas for this conversation.
I'm like ready to go film some brand partnerships myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks, Maya. I'm going to go make some freebies. Okay. To stack in with my next partnership. But
it's so good. But we're
Yeah.
just like so grateful that you took time to chat with us and chat with our audience. We're going to send you a Not an Influencer hat because, you know,
Yay!
part of the tribe now. So,
I love it.
but yeah, thanks for being here.
No, thank
Yeah.
you for having me. It's super honored to be on and have this conversation. And I love what you guys are doing because it's not talked about anywhere enough in the online space. And I'm constantly telling my people, I'm like, do brand partnerships. And they're like,
Mhm.
I'm an educator. And I'm like, do both.
Exactly.
And so I love what you guys are doing. I think that everyone in the service provider space, digital product space, they need to hear what you have to say. So I'm excited for this to go live, and tag me. We can be collaborators, all that good stuff. I'll share about it and we can get this out to more people.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Yes.
Maya.
Thank
And
you.
thanks everybody
You're
for
welcome.
listening.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.